Hey y'all, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is. I'm glad that you stopped by. Don't really have a lot to say. As usual, I'm driving, and when I'm driving, my brain wanders. I can only listen to music for so long. The music becomes distracting after a while. It just starts running it together. It doesn't really move me. If I listen to it all day, the music loses its impact. It's just like with anything. If you do it too much, it loses its specialness. And so I decided to switch it up and flip the camera on me, and instead of listening, I decided to start voicing some of the jumble and ramble that's bouncing around inside my head. Okay, so today really felt like the Christmas spirit, for some reason. It just felt like the holiday season, man. I was at a truck stop and I walked in, and the first thing out of my mouth was, Jesus is the reason. I wasn't even talking to anybody in particular, but it just came out of my mouth. Like it wasn't me. It was just the voice came out of me, like, did I just say that out loud? Did I just say Jesus is the reason? And what happened was I said it and I looked around, and I don't think anybody heard me, so they didn't think, oh my God, he's screaming Jesus, also he's a radical. But it freed me up when I said it. Like, when I said it, it was almost like you have to verbalize some things, and you have to say them out loud in order for them to really make sense. Like, you have to say things out loud. Like, I know when I was trying to have a relationship, keyword is trying, I didn't really like to voice a lot of things. I really didn't like to voice anything. Because when you voice stuff, then people can hold you accountable. They have a record of what is on the inside. And when you speak things, and when I would say things in a relationship, my girlfriend at the time, she would hear what I said, and then 2 or 3 days later, she would be like, so do you remember when you said this? What did you do? What are you doing about it? Is there a plan that you're working on, or is there some sort of is there something that you have to do in order to meet what you said? And it's good to say things out loud, like if you say something to somebody, they know what you're thinking. They know what you're trying to, you putting words to your ideas, basically. And so when I was in a relationship with my ex-girlfriend, she was all about communicating, and she loved to talk. I think she just liked to hear herself talk a lot of the time. I've been told that sometimes too, but I didn't talk near as much as she did. But she was always trying to get me to talk more, and I was so guarded and just going back to this morning when I said what I said at the truck stop, Jesus is the reason. Not only did I say it, but it freed me up from having to think it constantly. Like when I said it, it was out there, and then it impacted me. And then I also realized that when I said it, like, oh man, it is the holiday season. It is Christmas time. You know, it's not just the holiday season, it's Christmas time, you know. And a lot of people, young people, don't really realize that Christmas is special, man. It is not a time to be cynical. It's not a time to be isolated. It's not a time to be begrudging. It's not a time to harbor resentment. It's a time to even if people don't celebrate Christmas, it's a time to spread the good cheer throughout and spread the message of good tidings and that Jesus is the Messiah. He's the King. He's the ruler, and He's our Savior. You know, and a lot of people just make fun of that. You know, they say, "Oh, the baby Jesus! Oh, baby Jesus! This baby! Oh, baby Jesus, save me! Baby Jesus, help me! Baby Jesus!" You know, yes, of course He was born a baby, but you know, they take away the sacredness of His birth. You know, by just, you know, making light of the fact that, you know, Jesus was a baby. You know, of course He was a baby, but He was also the Savior. You know, and that was the way God intended it. You know, for Him to be born and to come up grow up and to have the same trials and tribulations. And man, that gives me hope, man, that our Savior was able to withstand and have the same afflictions, you know, the same He was able to share in the same burdens. And He wasn't above us. He was on the same ground as us. And you know, it's funny because at the birth of Christ, you know, the rulers of the land at the time, the mystery was hid to them. It was hidden to them, but to the low and the meek, to the poor and to the pushed aside people, the hidden mystery was revealed to them through angels and through ministering spirits, you know, and that they beheld the King in His infancy, in his they beheld the King in His formation. You know, he you know, the shepherds were out in the field, you know, just doing what they do, you know, just watching sheep. You know, it wasn't nothing special about them, you know, but the angel, I don't know which angel it was. I think it was Gabriel. I think it was Gabriel. It was an angel. I know it was like Gabriel, or might have been Michael. But they came and they told them that the Savior was in Bethlehem, you know. And man, that is, you know, I remember as a child hearing my mother read me the Bible and telling me Bible stories and telling me about, you know, her faith and sharing with me her belief. And, you know, it really has stuck with me because, you know, I don't care how much I don't even really have a real relationship with God at this moment, but I know that, you know, what's been passed down to me is a legacy of faith and Christianity. It's not just a religion. It's a relationship, you know. And on the subject of communication, prayer has to be spoken out loud. Like, you can think prayer all day and it probably won't affect anything, but when you put the words with your ideas and your thoughts, it just sparks a light bulb, and it brings closeness. It's like you're actually communicating with your Savior, you know, and it's something you have to work at. You know, you definitely don't just, you know, one day just decide I'm going to be spend 2 hours in prayer, or, you know, I'm going to, you know, go a whole month and fast and pray. You know, it can be, but, you know, just for me, prayer it's when my mind is quiet and I'm in a place where I can reflect on the issues of my heart, reflect on the worries, reflect on, you know, just anything, you know. And in a relationship with God, you can speak those things to Him, because He's known that we were, you know, He's known, He created us for Him, you know. He created us to be close to Him, you know, for us to basically, like, you are in a marriage, but it's just you're not physically married, you know. It's not a physical thing, but it's just it's that close, you know. Like, you can have a relationship with God that is so close that it's, you know, I don't know how close it can be, but I'm pretty sure, you know, there's no limit to what God could do through one person, or through a person who is totally dedicated, you know. It's just mind blowing, you know. And all this stuff came to me because, man, once I said Jesus is the reason for this season, my heart turned outward, you know. My heart turned outward, and I think that is key to living in this world. You have to have a heart that goes out to the world, you know. You know, you can't pull away from the world. You got to go to the world, you know. You got to be a radical, man. You got to be a radical, not a apathetic or weak-willed, or, you know, just, you got to go after it, man. And like, I'm preaching to myself, like I have to be more focused outwardly instead of inwardly. I have to be speaking things to people, letting them know, hey, how you doing? Man, you know what? It's good to see you. Man, you know, where you been? You know, showing people, you know, that there's no separation. You know, there's no separation. We think that we're so much different than each other, but we are the same. We are all the same. We are all the same when it comes down to our humanity, you know. Strip away all the different things that we can have, and we're all the same. We're no worse, we're no better. And but if we don't try to seek for a common ground, and don't try to compromise, you know, like, I don't know, I'm just rambling now, but To all my viewers who stuck through this video, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I hope that you are having a Merry Christmas, and Jesus is the reason for the season.